Hello and welcome to this CARVECO Maker first video. About a week ago, CARVECO released two hobbyist versions, that's Maker and Maker Plus. Maker is the entry level of the CARVECO programs. Now, until I think tomorrow, there's a 50% off sale, which is the Black Friday sale. It's on for a week. So you need to get in fairly early. So if you miss out on this sale, at the end of this video and below this video, just above the comment section, there is a discount code where you can go and receive 5% off any of the CARVECO products. Okay, so once you install your program, this is the screen that is presented to you. To go into the program is very simple. You just take a cursor up here to New Model, press that, and this dialog box will present itself. Now, dialog box is just a way that the computer or the program communicates with you, so it understands what you want it to do. I virtually always work in millimeters, but I do plan next year to work in inches for you as well. So this is the units that you can set right at the beginning of the program. Now this is the dimensions of your piece of work. It doesn't necessarily need to be the whole dimension of the full sheet that you have on your machine. Just the area, the localized area that you wish to work. So in our case, I'm going to say 100 by 100 in the X and Y directions. So it's going to be a square area of 4 inches by 4 inches. Okay? So that's that set. Now, for this first CARVECO Maker tutorial, I'm just going to do a simple pocket. So the resolution for this particular job really doesn't matter. It's only when you start to do real fine 3D reliefs and you want the higher resolution for that to give a really good quality piece of art that you machine on your rotor or milling machine. So leave it in the center. If you're just doing a 2.5D or a V carving, it's fine. Now this white box here is just a diagram representing your piece of material. And this little L shape red in the middle, now that is what is called the 0, position, or the start of the program. It just gives the CARVECO a starting point, a register point. There are two main 0s which are used on a rotor, for example, and that is the home position. That's where the rotor head normally lives, which is right down the front of the machine down here. So it's down there so you can change tools. And the work home. So this represents the work home. In other words, the start of the piece of work that you want to machine on the job. Okay, work home. So you have 5 different areas which you can make your work home, or your work 0, position. In the center of your material, in the bottom left. Now this is the position where rotors and main machining routing companies, this is where they normally start. But you have the choice of starting at any corner as well. So for this example, we are going to start down in this bottom corner. Okay, and when we come to machine it, and at the end of this video, I'll show you a quick machining of this, so you know, sort of what I'm saying now corresponds to what is happening on the machine. So this is our work 00, what's technically known as the work offset. Okay, so we're going to OK that and open up CARVECO Maker. Okay, so there we are, CARVECO Maker. Some of you may recognize the similarities of this program to the old ArtCAM Express. Well, that's because they're cousins, shall we say. But this is far in advance of the old Express. And so CARVECO Maker comes with over 600 reliefs that you can use within your projects in here. And you will find them in this folder up here. And this is the relief library. What I aim to do today is to just give you a general overview of the CARVECO Maker, but we're also going to use some of the drawing tools and some of the toolpath strategies just to get you started. So here's the clip art library, of which there's over 600, and you're not limited to one single relief in your project. This is made up of 5 different reliefs. This is one relief, and I've added on top another 4. So you can make multiple reliefs with this program. So we'll just get out of this a moment. We will come back to this in future tutorials, and I'll show you how to make something like that. So down on this side here we have vector drawing tools. Now a vector is quite simply, it's a line of any description or any shape or size. It's a line. So don't sort of get worried about when you see the word vectors. Okay, so what we're going to do is, quite simply, we're going to just click on the circle drawing tool, and we're going to come here . Incidentally, we're drawing in the 3D view. If you don't want to draw in 3D, you won't see it as 3D because we're doing a 2D drawing. But you can actually switch between the 3D and 2D by these tags up here at any time. So to get some rulers up here is very simple. Just go up here and open the View tab, and come all the way down here to show rulers. And that's how you turn the rulers on, okay? To give you some sort of, okay, well, where am I going to position this line? You can do it very, very accurately with this program. And you will also note, I hope the camera's picking it up, that the 0 on the ruler and 0 actually coincide with the 0 that we selected at the very beginning of the program, which is the bottom left hand corner down here. So if you wanted to accurately position, should we say, a circle, or whether it be a pocket or a drill in, you can accurately do it with this program by pulling down reference lines. So you could just pull them straight out. If you go up to the ruler, okay, and left click, and you can pull a line down. Shall we say 85 there? Very, very accurate. Okay, and say we want a central line, we just go over this side and pull another one out. 50. And if you wanted another one, there's no limit to however many lines you wish. 10, 15 there. So you can pull out reference lines to assist you to do some drawing. If you want accurate drill-ins or pockets, this is where you do it. So what we're going to do is, we've got our circle selected, and we'll come up here and snap is turned on. Okay, if you notice the cursor, as you bring it, it'll snap to lines, it'll snap to the center. Okay, I've got automatic snap turned on. So we're going to put one here and just pull it out like that. So I'm actually holding down the left mouse, so I can pull this out to wherever I want it, really, and then release it. And then you can go over here into this dialog box or wizard over here, and you can select the exact dimensions of what you want and even where you want it. And you can see here we're a little tiny bit out. That should be 0, so we're going to put a 0 there. It wasn't quite in the exact position that we wanted. And this needs to be 15 millimeters. Incidentally, you can work with radius or diameter. So if you want to change, if you prefer to work with diameter, just press on the diameter and it'll automatically change. So we want 30 millimeters diameter. And that's all we need to do. So then if you are happy with that, with the size of that pocket and the dimensions of it, you can press create. And then you can come out of that, although it's still selected. So you can deselect that just by clicking anywhere in the screen. So we want to make a copy of that down this far side. So easily you just copy and move the cursor up to here. You have two options, which is block, copy, rotate, or paste along a curve or a line. Well, I'm going to choose block, copy, rotate, And there's another little dialog box that comes up here that you can select how many you want to make. We actually only want to make one, but it doesn't matter. We can make 4 and delete the other 2. So we can we can select how far we want them apart if we want them. I'm going to say 50 in the X, and we want 70 in the Y, because I know that this, where this intersects here, is 70 millimeters away. 70, I want 2 rows, 2 columns, apply. You can see it's done it the wrong direction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo that. If you notice here, there's arrows. Okay, there's a red arrow there showing which direction you want them to be copied. Well, if you just left click on that, we want it to copy down this direction, and then apply. And you can see I've gone too far. So how far have I gone too far? Center of that one. I've gone 30 millimeters too far. So I need to change that to 40. And I need to reverse that. Apply, get rid of that. Incidentally, I'm zooming in and out here just by the scroll wheel on my mouse. And you can see I've got that one in the right spot. Deselect. I just want to select that one, press Shift and select that one, and just press Delete on your keyboard, and it goes away. But I have one copied exactly where I want it there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to draw a line, all right, from one side to the other, one side to the other, because I want to make this into a long elongated pocket. So we come to the polyline tool here, select that, and it will snap to there and snap to here. And to stop the polyline from continuing, you just right click. And again, and there's our polylines. So now we need to remove these 2 inner parts of the circle. And we just go to our vector clipping tool, because all these black lines on here are vectors. So our vector clipping tool is just a pair of scissors down here. So we select that, and if you notice, see they open when they go over a line, close, open. So when they're open, ArtCAM recognizes this vector line it needs to do something with. So you just hover over it when they're open like that, and left click, and it goes away. And same with this one, left click, goes away. And now we have our. So we come up here now to the selection tool, select it. See, they're not welded. It doesn't recognize it as one single vector. So we're going to join all those vectors up. So if you select if you go over it, just draw a box over it. I'm just doing that by holding my left mouse key down. Okay, so now it's all selected. So we're going to come up here now to this double square little icon here. If you hover over the icons, it tells you exactly what it is. So we're going to group these vectors together and make them one vector instead of 4. So we just press on that, and now if you go to any one of the 4 individual vectors, you'll see that it selects the whole thing. You may hear me slip up and say ArtCAM. That's because I've been working with ArtCAM for about 13 or 14 years, and sometimes when I'm talking about these programs, you know, my mind is still in the ArtCAM mind frame. So CARVECO. Okay, so we now have our part positioned in the material exactly where we want it. You know, we could position this anywhere in the material, and you know, this is just a tutorial piece. It's not, you know, going to be used for anything in particular, but that really doesn't matter. So we know our 00, or our datum for the start of our work, is on this bottom corner here. Okay, and now this is positioned in the middle of the work where we want it to be positioned. So the only other thing now we need to do is machine it, and it is when we set up the tool to machine this, that's what gives us the depth in it. Okay, because at the moment it's as flat as a pancake. So now we're going to choose a tool and we're going to machine this with CARVECO. So to do that, we choose a toolpath. So if you go over here and press on the toolpaths, they come up down here. They're also up here. We need to, so you can go over these, and like I say, if you hover over a little icon, you know, the label will come up and tell you exactly what it is. Also, there is you can go into the help window up here, and in there you can find out what all these tools will do. So we want an area clearance, which is that one there, so we'll pick that one. And this is the wizard, or the dialog box, for the area clearance. So we have our vector selected, alright, so it's highlighted and it's selected. You must always have the vector that you want to work on, okay, selected, otherwise CARVECO won't understand what you want it to machine. Okay, so it is the selected vector that we want to machine. You can click on that, and it gives you other alternatives, but no, we want to machine that piece. Start depth 0. Now I always make the 0 part, the 0 of the material, the actual top surface of the material. I find it much easier that way. A lot of professionals I know use the actual bed, top of the bed, as their 0. I do know that you can have some problems by ending up machining down into your bed if you're not careful. So I always prefer to use the top of the material. So we're going to say the start off depth is 0. Finish depth, we're going to say 10 millimeters, which is about 3/8 of an inch. For this, we don't really need to, sort of worry about tolerances or allowances, because we're just machining a piece of wood. And with wood, it doesn't really matter, to the nearest thousandth of an inch is fine. If this was aluminium and it was a precision part, which CARVECO will more than set the tool paths for, then you would use this and you would machine it out roughly first, then you would go back in for a finishing pass of a couple of thousandths of an inch to get it really, really accurate. Okay, so now we're going to go into the tooling list. So we want to go in and press add. Now this fetches up the tooling list that already is written into CARVECO. And metric tools, so we press on that, and let me see, let me have a look here. Wood and plastic, that's what we want. Wood and plastic. Roughing and 2D finishing, that's exactly what we want. See, roughing and 2D finishing. And we're going to be using I better find out what tool we're going to be using first. Okay, so the tool we're going to be using is one of these, which is a 2-flute 6mm, it's just slightly bigger than 1/4 of an inch, end mill. So we're going to do the speed and feeds now for a 6mm end mill, and here's a 6mm end mill here. So we're going to select that one, and we're going to now log it in. So there it is. But of course, it could be many different types of material. So now we have to set the speed and feeds for this particular material, which is pine actually. So step over 2.4 millimeters, fine. Step down 2.5 millimeters, that's fine as well. Feed rate 76 millimeters per second. Okay, so that's what's that? 3 inches per second. Okay, but I'll show you that you don't have to actually run it at that speed. In Mark 3 you can elect to start up at a percentage lower than that, anything from 1% to 100%. I'll show you that next. Plunge rate 50 millimeters, that's probably a little fast, so I'm going to alter that to roughly about 50% of the feed rate. That's what I normally do. So we're going to say 35, which is fine. 15,000 RPM. Probably need to be a little faster than that. So I'm going to run this at 18,000 RPM. There again, you can alter this on the controlling program. Tool number 1. Look, I don't have a tool changer. If you had a tool changer on a Tormac or something like that, or a Mazak, then you would put the tool number in here. But it really doesn't matter for me. Now, then it comes down to the strategy, how you want to machine this. You can either machine it in a raster, going back and forth like this. Not really for this type of job. You do an offset, and I normally choose climb milling, and I normally start on the inside. So in other words, it's going to come to the inside of the material, okay, and start machining from the inside out. That's exactly what we would want. Otherwise you can get some tearing, and well, you'll find out through experience, I think, but that would be my recommendation. Now then, add ramp moves. Now with this sort of timber, you know, sort of with pine or MDF or stuff, or material like that, you'd probably be all right for the rotor head to come over and go straight into it and start machining straight away. But I find it a very good practice actually to have a ramp in or a lead in move. So in other words, you're going to come along, the rotor head's going to come along, come to the start position of the job, and then start to ramp in and come in like this, gently. Okay, it gives you a chance to hit the panic button or stop the program if you see something going wrong. You don't destroy the whole job. Okay, so we're going to say yes, we want ramp in moves. And this is just an expanded dialog box now, or wizard, that to ask you, okay, 10 degrees okay? In other words, 10-degree angle come in, it's fine. Ramp length, 10 millimeters, yeah, that's fine. And, you know, these two really don't matter. The general information, the angle and the ramp length, that's all you really need to put in there. Okay, machine safe over the material. Now, CARVECO has elected, you know, 5 millimeter, and generally that's okay. But you can set that to whatever you want, really. Now then, we're going to set up the actual material thickness now. So here we are, and CARVECO provide you a diagram giving a little bit of explanation of what this is about. So I can tell you that it's 19 millimeters, the material that I have on and set on the top, okay. So it's 19 millimeters thickness of material, okay. And this slider here, right, just gives you the, whether you want the 0 position. Remember, I was telling you that you need to have, especially if you're starting off, you need to have the 0 position on the top of the material. Okay, and this is where you would alter that. And I always work on the top of the material, yeah? Material Z, top of the material. Okay? You won't get any problems then. Press OK. And we're going to name this Test 1 Maker, and I always give information about the tool that I'm going to be using. So it's a 6 millimeter capital E end mill, just abbreviated, simple, so long as you can understand what it is, okay, and in relation to what part of the program that you write in. That's good, that's fine. So now you just press the calculate . Okay, so now it's coming up and telling us that there's a problem with the vectors. So now we're going to use another tool to automatically find out where the problem is. And that is the vector doctor up here. So we're going to press that. Okay, we're not going to worry about that. So we're going to ask it to identify what the problem is. Okay. So it's identified these 4 joins here. Okay, so we know there's a problem on each of these 4 corners. Now it's very simple to solve that problem. So first of all, you need to come over here and ungroup the vectors so it'll go purple. So then we need to virtually weld these vectors together to form one piece. Now, as CARVECO Maker comes, the tools for doing that are hidden actually, and I'll show you a very easy way to get to them. And you can alter the screen around whichever way it suits you. They're actually down here off screen. Okay, you see where I'm pointing down here? Now, simply to get to them, there's 2 ways actually. You can either get to them here, okay, or an easy way of doing it is you just grab this toolbar by left clicking and just move it up here, like so, and they're revealed here. So what we want to do now, and you notice as soon as I click on one, okay, shift and click on another, these light up, enabling you to use them. Okay, so the easy way of doing it is select the 2 vectors that you want to join together, come up here and say you want to join these 2 vectors with a line. Okay, and select another one. You want to join that one with a line. Select that one and join that one. So now you know that they're all joined up. And it's indicated that they're all joined up by a little green square here. So now it's all one piece. So CARVECO won't allow you to go into a machining strategy. You know, it will always pick up, oh, there's a problem here, and you need to go back and solve the problem. So just showing you quite easily that the tools are in CARVECO to solve these problems. So we'll just put this back where it was now. So if you see that little grey line there, if you can just hover over that, left click and move it back down. So you can move things around the screen to suit yourself. So now we can come back to our machining strategy and calculate. And it's as quick as that. So we can come out of that now, and now we can go into the 3D screen. And we can turn the rulers off now. So remember, we come up here to view, view, and deselect that, and the rulers go away. Now, if you come up here, there's a, well, like a view cube here that you know, you can sort of go to a precise sort of viewing angle, so you can see the number of passes that you're going to have. You can actually see the tool paths there. So we're having a bit of a storm outside, so I hope you can hear me okay. So now what we're going to do, we're going to simulate this. So here's the simulation tool over here, so we'll click that. And we're going to, so CARVECO has shown the tool at the work 00 position, which is right here on this front corner here, if you remember. So we're going to press the play now. And there it goes. And what you see on here in the simulation is exactly what the machine's going to do. And there's our pocket. If you want to move it around on the screen, you just hover over it and press the left and right mouse together, and you can move it around. So all we need to do now is to send that machining strategy to our machine. Okay, this is my particular machine, which is a 6012. That's 600 millimeters by 1200 millimeters, or full foot operational size table. So this is the position of the machine home. If you remember, in the very start of this tutorial, when I was talking about the machine home and the work at 0, 0, well, this is the machine home. This is where it lives over here, so you can easily change the tool. So now I'm just going to take the rotor head, or spindle head, over to the 0, 0 point of the work. This, by the way, is called jogging. Jogging the machine around. So just take it over very quietly, and I've marked on this piece of waste material the 0, 0 or start position of the work here. So just that's close enough for this particular job. Now we're going to set the 0 of the Z. And to do that, you just get a piece of paper. This is one method of doing it, and just bring the tool down so just traps the paper there. That's it. So now in Mark 3 I'll set the 0, 0. So there, that's all set, and I will now start the machine going and machine this part. And after the rotor has completed machining that job, it returns back to the home position, or the 0 point of the workpiece. So that was CARVECO Maker in action, with a very simple project for you, and it's one that I would suggest you start off with. If you've liked this video, please press like and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget, if CARVECO's sale has finished by the time you see this video, you can still use my discount code, which will be underneath this video and also at the end of the video. So you get 5% discount off if you use that code when you purchase or you subscribe to any of the CARVECO products. So thank you again for watching, and it's bye for now.